Right here we have ages of all 89 Academy Award winning actresses. This was taken from Wikipedia. Here's the web address. This was taken in 2016. I have all the data listed here in ascending order. And the purpose of this video here is we want to use the calculator, both the TI83 and TI84, to find the mean, standard deviation, and variance of this data set. So let's get started. First thing we need to do is enter the data into our calculator's list environment. To open up the calculator's list environment, we want to press on the Stat button followed by Enter. There may be data already in our list, so we want to clear that out. Remember, to do that we need to use our arrow key. Arrow up until your cursor is highlighting L1, then press Clear, Enter. Okay, so let's go ahead and enter this data in. Okay, we've got all 89 ages in the list. And now we want to go ahead and double check that we've entered in all that data correctly. And of course this is going to have us use our arrow keys, and it's going to consume some time. But this is an important step when you're entering data in. Okay, so now assuming we've done all that, let's go ahead and calculate the one variable statistics and find the mean, standard deviation, and variance of these ages. To do that, we just want to press the Stat button, arrow over to the Calc drop-down menu, and the first function is named one variable statistics. To select that, press Enter or press 1. This will give us this pop-up screen here, and we want to tell the calculator which list the data set is in. Of course, that's in list 1, so we want to make sure you have L1 here. If you don't have an L1 present there, you can put it there just by pressing second 1. So the 1 button becomes an L1 button if you press the second button prior to pressing the 1 button. Okay, so the next thing to do is to delete out or clear this frequency list. It's important to remember that for this type of a calculation, just finding the one variable statistics for a single list, you want to keep the frequency list here blank, completely blank. Now, if you happen to be trying to find the mean or standard deviation or variance of a frequency distribution table, that's when your frequency list is going to be L2. Okay, let's go ahead and calculate. So arrow key, arrow down, and highlight calculate, and then hit enter. So now there's the result of running the one variable statistics command on the TI84. Again, we're going to do this on the 83 here in a second. So now we have the results. Here's our mean. Our mean is 36.2. And let's go ahead and grab the standard deviation. Okay, so we'll take this data set as a cluster sample. Suppose that we had sorted all of the Academy Award winners into their various clusters. For example, you've got Academy Award winning actresses, you've got Academy Award winning actors, and so on. So let's assume that this data set was taken from a sample. Moreover, it was a cluster sample. So we randomly selected one of the clusters, and in this case it was the Academy Award winning actresses, and then we took all of the ages in the cluster. Okay, so I'm bringing that up because we need to know which one of these two numbers right here to take for sample standard deviation, and it's this first one right here. This says SX. So if we want sample standard deviation, then the number we're using is SX. If on the other hand we want population standard deviation, then we should be taking the number under sigma x. And notice I'm rounding these statistics to a number which is one decimal place more than the data. And this is, of course, the round off rule that our textbook gives us for these statistics. So now if you want to arrow down, is it possible to find, you can see your other statistics are there, your quartiles, your min-max, but is it possible to find the sample standard deviation on here? And the answer to that is no, you can't. But there is one way, a couple of ways of finding the sample variance. And that would be to just enter in this entire number here, the sample standard deviation, and square that with this squaring key. Or we can grab this, the stored value of Sx from your calculator. Okay, so now, and square that. So now, okay, so how are we going to do this? Press on the vars button. And number 5 is the statistics variable, so I'm going to press 5. We want to access the number stored under Sx, so press 3. This will copy and paste the symbol for standard deviation over to the calculator's home screen. It's got the stored value, 11.7 and some change in there. We want to square that now to get the value of sample standard deviation. I'm sorry, sample variance. Okay, so now we want to do this with the TI83 because the way you go about doing this is slightly different. So those of you with the 83, this should help you out. So we want to begin by, of course, entering the data into the calculator's list environment. Okay, so now we need to double check that we've done that correctly. Of course, I'm going to assume it's all good here and let it ride. Now, to calculate the one variable statistics, or to access the one variable statistics command, we're going to go through the same list of steps. Just press the stat button, then use your arrow key to arrow over to the calc drop-down menu. And of course, the very first function listed is the one variable stats command. Press enter, and now this will copy and paste the one variable stats command over to your calculator's home screen. What we want to do now is tell the calculator which list we want to have run this algorithm on. So to do that, it's list 1, of course, and to do that we're going to use the 1 button, but prior to pressing 1 you press the second button and then 1 and then hit enter. So now this will feed in to the one variable statistics command, the list 1, the numbers in list 1, and when you press enter, it'll execute the calculator's algorithm here and give us the printout of the ages here, the mean age, the standard deviation of the ages, and the variance of the ages. So you can see that these numbers are the same as the same numbers that we arrived at when we used the TI84. The mean X bar was 36.2 years old. And the sample standard deviation is 11.7 years. And the sample variance, how can we get that? Well, you can either type in all of these numbers and then press the squaring button, or you can go ahead and grab the calculator's stored value for sample standard deviation and square that. So that's what we're going to do by pressing the vars button. We want to access the statistics variables, press 5. Sx is the variable stored under number 3, so when I press 3 here, this will copy and paste the command, the Sx, this value stored for Sx and the symbol stored for Sx, the sample standard deviation, over to the calculator's home screen. We now want to square that value and press enter. This will give us the sample variance, which is 137.7, and this of course should be years squared. Okay, so now you know how to do finding statistics on both the TI-83 and 84 Plus.